restaurant. Okay, welcome to another episode of I Thought You Might Like Today. I guess I'm just gonna have snacks every time or drinks because I love having a lot of drinks. Thanks, ADHD. This is Dr. Whatever. It's kombucha. Not sponsored. I just love kombucha a lot. Probably shouldn't drink so much because it's acidic, but oh well. It's good for your gut. Welcome back. I'm wearing a different shirt today. I guess I'll just always be telling you what I'm wearing because um because I feel like that's a fun way to start. This is a shirt. I really like this shirt. It's designed by Baulima. I am from Honolulu, so these are all different plants. I think they're all native plants or endemic plants that are found on the island, and the company is really cool. Again, not sponsored. I just think they're really awesome. They do a lot of preservation work, selling pins and badge or like badgy looking things and T-shirts and bags, and some of the money goes to their nonprofit to help them preserve the delicate nature that lives here because islands are they're very susceptible to invasive species and whatnot. Anyways, back to what y'all really signed in for. I'm hoping people are watching this. Thanks for tuning in. So on I Thought You Might Like today, I'm going to be doing a kind of a. This is an older show. It's still going on. It is one of my favorite TV shows, maybe ever. I think I might say that. I think it's one of my favorite TV shows ever, and it is Anticipatory Kombucha Drink. My favorite TV show, one of them. Okay, I have a lot. I can't choose. But one of my favorite TV shows ever is Bob's Burgers. And you might be wondering, well, one, why? But also, I have been told that I sound kind of like Louise. So, if anyone comments on that, uh, thank you. She's an awesome character, and I already know that I sound like that. So I'm like a child, and I promise you I'm not. But anyways, it's one of my favorite shows. And actually, I first got turned on to this show by one of my college roommates and her sister. Shout out to my to my old college roommate Rachel and her sister Hannah. They were kind enough to let me stay at their house during Thanksgiving because it was never enough time for me to go back home for the holidays. I went to school at St. Mary's, which is located in the East Bay. Uh, I went to school in California, Northern California. So yeah, going home was just not an option. The plane ticket's so expensive. So Rachel and her sister Hannah were kind enough to invite me into their home, and I have this fantastic memory of watching Bob's Burgers at their house, and I had never really, I don't know about you, viewers slash listeners slash y'all out there, but I was never a huge fan of adult cartoons. Sometimes I think they'd be like really, like almost gross. Like I can only handle so much like animation style of like brains and eyeballs and like so I don't really like Rick and Morty. I tried watching like one episode and I could barely get through like five, like not even like a minute. I think it was just too much for me. So I was like kind of hesitant when watching Bob's Burgers. But I was like, Hannah really liked the show, my friend's sister, and so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I think the first episode I ever watched was like I think it's like a season 3 or 4. It's an earlier season, and it was the episode where the kids accidentally Bob like fires them and they go and work at this blueberry farm, which turns out that it's just like weed. Like the kids are inadvertently like selling weed. Now, this might not sound like a great description, but it is wrought with humor. So, backtrack a little bit. Bob's Burgers is, an adult animated cartoon that's on Hulu. It's an FX show. And it's really just about like this family that it lives in New Jersey, and a fictional town in New Jersey, though apparently it is based off of an actual area in Maine, but the TV show, the Belcher family, they live in New Jersey, and they just run this burger restaurant, and they're just trying to make ends meet. And that is basically like the overview of the show. And yet the creators of the show really like get into family dynamics, uh just all these just funny antics that the family gets into, how they kind of come together, well, what they do to keep the restaurant like afloat, and you just have all these like amazing like cast of characters. The voice acting is awesome. uh Almost all the actors are men, even though there are like a lot of female characters. I have mixed feelings about that, but all the voices are awesome. All the characters are really, they're all like weird. I love like weird characters who at their heart are, like good people, or they're just trying to get through life, or they're kind of sweet in their own way. So all the characters have, character growth, which I thought was really interesting, because time is treated differently in the show. Only a handful of the characters have birthdays, but yet they're kind of all there's a bunch of holiday episodes, but, like, time is just kind of odd. So, but yet there is a lot of character growth that happens. I have to disclose, I don't have to, but I want to disclose that I have watched, it's like a 13 season like show, and it's still going, but I think I have watched every episode maybe at least like 20 times. It's my comfort show. I do have ADHD, so watching the same thing over and over again gives me a lot of like comfort and enjoyment, even though I know, and it's because I know exactly what's going to happen. That's why I like spoilers. I want to know what happens so I don't get stressed out, and I'm like, oh, I'm prepared for what's coming next. So I love the show so much. I have it in the background. There's like episodes that I like kind of memorize the songs that play. There's like cute little weird songs. I sometimes know the lines too that the characters are gonna say. My family teases me about it all the time because I can just hear sometimes the first like minute or so of the show, and I know exactly what episode it is, and sometimes I can get the season and stuff. So anyways, it's a really awesome show. I think that the show, I think the initial premise of the show, like, I don't tend to watch seasons 1 and 2 very often. um and if you're somebody who kind of enjoys more of the crass adult humor, this show might not be for you. But I still think you might like it if you're interested in kind of like, at the end of the day, sweet but not overly saccharine. It's not like a Sunday special or whatever. Like a, is that what the term is, like Sunday school special that some sitcoms had? I think in the '90s, of like, here's the lesson you're gonna learn today, kids. I mean, it feels really genuine. It doesn't feel too forced in the show. But the beginning, I think the original premise of Bob's Burgers, if I'm not mistaken, was that they actually wanted to make them cannibals. Like the first episode, the pilot episode, is like like Louise doing show and tell and being like, here's my family's like burger, and it's made from human remains from the crematorium next door. What? And like this, like they're just antics that follow. So I think at the beginning, the showrunners kind of wanted to maybe like dive into the darkness of what the show could potentially be, because a lot of other adult cartoons at the time were doing that, but they really like decided to go in a different direction, which is more about, at the end of the day, the family loves each other, they support each other in their own kind of ways, and it's just like how they do life. And I think as the seasons progress, you can really see kind of like these small lessons sort of being learned, and it makes the show really sweet, because I think it's a lot of stuff that, when I was younger, even now, like as not a child, but sometimes I feel like a child, I'm still learning that kind of stuff of like, you know one of the most recent episodes was that Gene ended up kind of, he wanted to do origami, but then he wasn't sure he wanted to do this thing, and then he kind of stopped because it was hard. And then at the end, through a bunch of like funny antics, Bob is sort of telling him, his dad, sort of telling him like, the best things in life are often really challenging. it's just sort of like that's just like a statement, and but it's like kind of it's really sweet, and again, it's not too overly saccharine. So yeah, I adore this show. I love all the characters. You know, you have Bob and Linda, the mom and the dad. Linda has red glasses. That's not why I have red glasses, but I just also have red glasses. Louise, Jean, and Tina are the kids. Teddy is like a handyman who's like a constant customer. Mort has a crematorium next door. Jimmy Pesto is across the street and is like an arch rival, and his like not henchman, but Trev is like his like kind of right hand guy. You have Jimmy Pesto Jr., you have the twins, Andy and Ollie, you have regular size Rudy. I mean, you have like all these like really interesting characters. And so yeah, it's just if y'all just want like a really cute, fun show that it's really easy to dive into, you can watch almost any episode. Like you don't really have to watch the episodes in order. The movie is also very sweet. I think that their most recent Christmas episode, one of my friends, again Joy, was telling me that that's like her favorite episode ever, and it is a really sweet episode. So you know, the world like really sucks sometimes, so I think that just having kind of a fun show that's like, you know, in the, I don't know, I just like having like a fun, like just show that's like in my back pocket if I'm having a really tough day or I just need something that'll make me feel kind of all right. It's one of those shows that I really go to. So yeah, I thought y'all might really like it if you're looking for just something kind of fun, quirky. The episodes are really short. It's a very, in my opinion, easily rewatchable show. So I would love to know if you all watched it, if you have a favorite episode, a favorite character. I could go on and on talking about Bob's. I think one of the other things that I love about the show is that it's for, they somehow make it for, you know, an average viewer, just somebody who wants to watch a couple episodes and like, oh yeah, it's a cool show. Or they make it for somebody more like me and others like me who are like really into the show because there's all these like fun, if you watch it like a ton of times like I do, you know, there's all these like fun punny sort of names on like back buildings as the characters are going about doing stuff, and if you're watching really closely they'll use some of the same background characters in multiple episodes, and that just stuff is like really fun. And I'll give another example. I don't know if this is like a spoiler, but if it is, like close your ears or whatever. But in the movie came out recently, I think after season 12. And in season 12, if you watch some of the later episodes, you'll see that some people in the background, so let's say that the scene is like inside the restaurant and you're kind of, the kids are talking to their parents about something. Jean says something funny, makes a fart joke or whatever. Tina does something awkward. But if you like look in the background, because you can see through the window the sidewalk that's in front of their restaurant, there's some people that like kind of fall or they like trip over something because the sidewalk is like uneven. And there's one mention, I think Linda being like, oh yeah, the sidewalk's really like, make sure you don't trip over it. And then in the movie, that's like a major plot event that there's like a giant sinkhole in front of the restaurant, but they like, but like the creators like put that little Easter, I guess they're called Easter eggs, like Easter eggs like in that. And I just love that. I think it's really fun. And I think it shows that the creators kind of care about a wide range of people who might be viewing their show. Cause you know, that's, I mean, it's not a huge thing in any of the season 12 episodes, but it's like a fun little like hidden thing that'll like come out later. Like I think Pixar does a great job of having all these like little Easter eggs that are going to reveal what the next movie is. So if y'all are really into that, then I really think you'd like the show. And again, it's really sweet. Um, I love how the characters are really unconventional, but like really lovable, all in their own way. And yeah, that like, you know, that everyone at the end of the day, I think is supportive. And I think that's really fun. I really think that's fun to watch. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I think this is a slightly longer episode because if you can't tell, I love this show a lot. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for, this next episode of I Thought You Might Like. Let me know what you think. Thanks.